Yo, 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 yo. All right, just posting that we are live. Just posting that we are live, and then we will get ready with the analysis. All right. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's start. Let's have a quick look first, make sure we don't miss any subs while we're doing some analysis. No, all good. All right. Very, very nice. Let's have a look what we have here. You know what? We're going to start with some overall analysis again, starting with the weekly. So what happened yesterday was GJ broke above weekly highs right here. Right, so GJ has broke above weekly highs, which is weekly phase 2, which is break of structure, right? So we broke it, we retested it. It looks cleaner on the hourly, so I'm just going to move this level right here on the hourly and go back to the 30-minute. So we can see that it broke and retested it and then continued bullish. On the weekly perspective. So that's weekly phase 2 break of structure has been taken out at this point on GJ. So we can potentially now for the rest of the week, what we would, potentially see now is for price to continue bullish after this, right? Now it could come down for a deeper retest now back into this area because this was only just a small break and a quick retest before it continued up. So it's either going to continue bullish from where it is, or it's going to come down for a deeper retest in here into this level. And then we should, if this level holds, then we will see GJ continuing bullish for the rest of the week above this level, which is 167.322. So that's what happened yesterday. We came down during the we came down during Asian session. We made that bottom wick, which would be the bottom wick on the weekly perspective. If we have a look at the weekly, that is that bottom wick that was formed there during Asian session of around about 72 pips. So that is this move down here as market opened. Price came down, made a bottom wick for the weekly, the daily pulled back and then continued bullish. That is that. So just put in this previous weekly low, which would be weekly phase 1, which would obviously be trend continuation. We go to our 3-day level. We can see that the 3-day levels did get broken and retested as well yesterday. It came down right into our Trinity phase level. You can see this is that move yesterday, retested on this resistance as support again, and which supported price to move up. So now we can see we have new 3-day lows, which would be Trinity phase 2, which would be break of structure, and we have Trinity phase 1 in here at this point now, which of course is trend continuation, and we have seen GJ continue to the upside, even though now we are back below it and we are rejecting that level, as you can see. We broke it, retested it, and now we've dropped below and we've rejected with 1, 2, 3, 4 rejection wicks. So let's just mark that up until this level right here. So that is our Trinity phase level, Trinity phase 1. Again, so what we'd want to see is price pop above this to continue bullish, right? Maybe retest it, something like that. But we want to, if price is going to continue bullish, we need to see price continue above this level. And of course, we have Trinity phase 2 down here, which we don't have to necessarily worry about too much at the moment, as price is nowhere near it. But we're going to mark out these trend lines here from this level to here. I'll just mark that trend line out, because that would also indicate a break to the downside, right? That would also indicate that price is going to continue bearish. Not continue bearish, but price, if price breaks back below this weekly phase 2 level, then we could see something like this. And it would also, of course, break below trend line and break this current move to the upside. If we take a look at the daily, we'll be able to see more clearly what that would mean. So that would be a break of obviously daily phase 2 again, which would be break of structure. And now we have daily phase 1, which is also Trinity phase 1, which is our 3-day level. So what we can see now, just looking at this chart, is it is of course in this uptrend now. That is very clear. And we've also now broke previous weekly highs, which was weekly phase 2 break of structure, meaning that we have now on the weekly time frame broken that structure, that bearish structure also. And at this point, you would expect price to continue bullish, right? You can see we broke out of that structure, boom, 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 broke out, and now we're moving to the upside. And now we've also broke, if we take a look, we have also broke weekly highs over here. Now this is the weekly time frame, right? So we've made a bottom wick, and now we broke weekly highs, and now we can expect to potentially continue bullish at this point up until this level right here, which would be 171266 in that area. So yeah, that would be targets now for GJ up into that previous level over there. Let me just make that a little bit more cleaner. Right over here. Right. So now we, like I said, we can expect price on GJ to continue moving bullish. There's nothing yet showing that price is going to reverse at any given moment and start trending back to the downside until we see this trend broken. We see some daily candles start to flip bearish. We start respecting daily highs and breaking daily lows, and we start to see some of this structure, daily phase 2, Trinity phase 2, start getting broken, right? And then we can start seeing that structure getting broken to the downside. But I'm not even looking at that at the moment. All I'm looking at is pullbacks here on GJ to potentially weekly phase 2, break of structure levels, potentially come in here for a deeper retest. Or what we want to see is now price close above this level, Trinity phase 1. We want to see it close back above 168044, and we want to see it starting to move bullish again, right? So that's GJ. Very clean, clear, precise analysis, and also a level to take into consideration and look out for is this level right here. As we can see, last time price retraced to this level, right, rejected here, and then started making this trending move to the downside, right? So it's something that I will take into consideration. I'll just keep my eye on. If we just have a look, we can see that it's right there, 169 level. So yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, there's a high chance that we're going to come down into this level today, as we also have untested daily pivot point right here that hasn't been touched. So there's a good chance that it can come down. We've also missed weekly pivot points down here at 165953. So that is always a magnet to price. So we'll see what happens. I'm just looking for buys at the moment. Maybe not today, seems as though we've already broken daily highs, right? We've spiked out and now we're coming back below. And it seems like today we could get that retracement back down into this area. We'll see if this area holds as support for the week for price to continue bullish at some point, or whether we're going to see this level broken and we're going to see that trend line broken, and we're going to start seeing these daily levels, trinity phase levels broke to the downside for that then change of direction in trend. Man, my mouth gets dry as hell when I talk on here for a long time. Let's have a look at Euro USD. All right, so let's take a look at the weekly again. All right, so this is our weekly chart, and what has happened yesterday? Again, we've come straight. We created that small bottom wick, and we've come straight down and broken previous weekly lows, which is, you guessed it. If you didn't, then you're not listening careful enough. Right, this would be weekly phase 2, which is what? Break of structure. So again, we've broken that structure to the downside now on Euro USD on the weekly perspective, right? So we can expect some sell-off this week, because we could potentially already have had that sell-off below this level, right? We're just going to wick down and then wick back up, because from the weekly perspective, right, we didn't really make much of a top wick here at all. We made a top wick on the weekly of 12 pips. It's not, doesn't necessarily mean that price is going to come back up, because again, we are at this key level, right? Again, let me just do this, right? We are at this key level on the weekly that we've rejected with this nice rejection wick from the weekly perspective, and now we've broken the previous weekly low. So we could sell off pretty heavily here and potentially come and fill this whole bullish candle to the left down. But yeah, we will see what happens there. We just got to wait and see at this point. We're just gonna, if we have a look at the daily, we can see that the daily has made a nice top wick, right? I would have ideally liked it to tap into that previous that weekly phase 2 level right there of 1.02716. Still has the potential to do that. When's this? Wednesday? That's tomorrow. So that's what I'm looking to get in on Euro USD, right? Got this level, we have rejected, and we're looking to take advantage of these sales now. Just waiting for that break of structure to the downside, which we have, and now we're just looking to right, continue that off. So that is weekly phase 2 that we have broken. Again, I would like to see a retest of that level, but as of now, we are focused on sales, and of course we have weekly phase 1, which would be trend continuation, but there's no need for us to draw big zones on there. We're just focused on this area for now. Looking at the 3-day chart, we have new 3-day levels printed, right? So this would be Trinity phase 1, which would be continuation buys, right? Very simple. Trinity phase 1, breaks below, closures below, we can look for sales. And of course we have Trinity phase 2 at the top, which will be break of structure, and we can see that this 3-day candle was very nice, respected previous 3-day highs, broke previous 3-day lows and weekly lows. So it's looking like Euro USD is bearish, and it obviously is after these sell-offs, but you know, I could tell it was bearish from here, and of course we caught those sales yesterday. So yeah, that was beautiful. So now what we have is again daily phase 2, break of structure to the upside, but we don't have to worry about those for now. And then we have daily phase 2, daily phase 1 down at the bottom here. So again, just zooming out, what do we see? We can see that prices clearly started trending to the downside. We have broke weekly structure, and now we have our break of structures above us, right? All above us, which means now all we're doing is looking below for those sells, right? So again, price could come up for a deeper retest into this weekly level. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. We have already tested and rejected daily pivot points. We have missed weekly pivot points. So this again is always a magnet for price to come back up into, but it could do that at the end of the week once we get this sell off. We also do have last week's weekly pivot point that hasn't been touched, which price is again gravitating towards now down here at 1.02079. So that is something that I would obviously be weary of if I do take sales here, to look out for this level. If price starts rejecting, then I'll be out of that, of course. Again, trend lines that you want to see broken if we're going to start seeing that momentum back to the upside, right, is this one right here. Looks clean on the hourly, right? So again, clearly Euro USD now is trending to the downside, with weekly levels broken, daily levels broken, lots of structure broken to the downside. So now we're just waiting to see if we're going to get these pullbacks, right? If we're going to get a pullback into these levels before we sell off, or if there's enough volume in the market at the moment that price is just going to continue to sell off from this level. So we'll wait and see. We're going to set I'm going to set my alerts below this level because I want to take sales if price comes down to this level, below this level, right? So I don't want to miss that. GJ, again, like I said on GJ, there's a high probability that GJ is going to come down into this area and potentially further down into here, right? Into around 165, around 166, right? GJ 166. So yeah, that's Euro USD, that's GJ. So again, sales below. Sales below Trinity. Oh, phase 1. And I have my alarm ready for when that happens. USD CHF. These were the sales that I was in yesterday. You can see I in some nice profit, break even, nice profit, break even. But I am out of this trade now. I got out of this trade at break even right here as price came down and tapped in right at this one. I was at break even there, tapped break even, and then obviously went up again. But I am out of that trade. I actually need to mark that. Mark that down, out of break even. Cool, just so I can mark that down in my diary. So I have alarms set on USD CHF right here for closures above this level, right? So we have our weekly levels marked up. This would be weekly phase 2. No, this will be weekly phase 2. Sorry, this will be weekly phase 1. So you can see that phase 2 has already been broken here on the weekly perspective. So that means, again, after this, we can see clear breakout right here of these levels. Price has broke out, and you can see that it has started trending to the upside. Pretty clear, right? So again, now let's mark. So that's our weekly levels. We don't need to mark these off. This is also a key zone from the weekly perspective. If we have a look, taken from over here, and price bounced nicely off that. If we go to the daily, we can see the clear rejection and move up. Same thing on the 4 hour. We can see 1, 2, 3 spikes in, and then we see these highs and the structure taken out to the downside. You can see right here the trend being broken on the 1 hour time frame, right? Broke out, retested, continued bullish. Now, of course, we do have this trend to the upside, and we have broke above weekly levels. We've rejected it a little bit, right? We haven't come down for a deeper retest in here yet. I was expecting price to do that potentially today, but we haven't. We've kind of found support right here. I think these are yesterday's. What's this? Yesterday's New York lows. So that's weekly perspective, right? We broke above, we have our low. At this point, we was bearish, right? We respected highs, broke lows, and now we've come up and we've broke highs straight away yesterday at the start of the week. So looking at our 3-day, we now have bullish momentum on the 3-day perspective from the 3-day time frame, where we can see Trinity phase level, Trinity phase 2 again, which would be break of structure now to the downside, and we see Trinity phase 1, which would be trend continuation, which is what we are looking at today on USD/CHF. So I will give this trade another go today, even though I was in this trade yesterday. And we got out of break even. I'll give it another go today if we do see breaks above this level, right? If we do see closures above this level. And we also have that weekly pivot point level that has just about got tapped into but hasn't been touched yet. That was last week's level that just got completely missed. So we'll be looking at that level to see if we can get closures above there. So I'll be looking at an alert above here like this, to remind me to not miss this trade, right? So that's our 3-day perspective on USD/CHF, right? Clearly in that trend to the upside now. If we take a look at the daily, again, nice clear uptrend, and we have daily phase 2, a daily phase 2, okay, doesn't want to change, just having a moment, so we'll just lock that in. We'll come back to it. It should change in a second. There we go. So we've got daily phase 2. We've also got this trend line, that if price does want to start moving to the downside, we would of course have to break daily phase 2 here, and obviously then we'll see price pop back below that weekly level. Then we could see a break of trend line, break of daily phase 2, and we could see that move to the downside then. But again, all I'm focused on now, that's why I have my alerts here, is buys above 0.95980 to continue this move, and of course dollar strength is something you can always bet on eventually, that the strength will come back into the US dollar. They're not going to let it sell off for too long. They never do. Eventually we're going to see some retracement here to make up some of this move, this massive sell-off. So yeah, so I'll wait for breaks above there. So I'll just wait for a closure, a candle closure on the 30-minute or the hourly, and then I'll look to break that previous 30 or hourly high to take those buys. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So that's USD CHF. So that is buys above Trinity phase 1. Buys above. Yeah, so buys above Trinity phase 1 and USD CHF. Gold. Goldie, goldie, goldie. Oh, I love gold. I do. All right. So let's have a look. All right. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. You can see I do have an alert there. Below this level, I did do some quick analysis earlier, but I'll go over it again. So weekly, right? We have weekly levels, right? And what has happened? We've got obviously the trend to the upside, and then last week we made new lows, right? Broke above previous weekly highs, so that is clearly then in an uptrend from the weekly perspective. But now this week has happened, right? Yesterday we opened up, made a bit of a top wick, and then we just straight broke previous weekly lows, which is, of course is weekly phase 2 break of structure. So we've seen that structure break to the downside down on gold. So that's why we did see this sell-off, and we can expect gold to stay bearish and be bearish and continue to sell off as long as we stay below weekly phase 2 levels right here, which is 1747555. So as long as we stay below weekly phase 2, then gold is bearish and it will continue to sell off at some point. So that is weekly on gold, and we can see obviously we've got weekly phase 1 right at the top of these levels, but we have broke structure from the weekly perspective on gold to the downside. So that is why I was looking at these sales yesterday, and it continued to sell off overnight. And then today, if we just take a quick look at the daily, or first of all, let's take a look at the weekly, right? And see what the weekly shows right now. So we've had this big move up. We've had the rejection wick, bearish candle, and now we've had this week's candle make a bit of a top wick and then break previous weekly lows and start to sell off a little bit. So of course, gold does look bearish if we take a look at the daily, and we can see that we are currently making a top wick on the daily of around about 80 pips so far. So potential for this then now to flip bearish once we've made this top wick and continue these candles below 1732595, right? Then you can look for sales, of course, below that level. But let's take a look at our 3-day and mark those in real quick. So we can see we've got Trinity phase 1 right down here for trend continuation, so we can wait for breaks below this level. And we also have Trinity phase 2, which of course would be break of structure at that point back to the upside, but we're not focused on that. Like I said, we are below weekly phase 2, which means as long as we stay below this level, we can see those sell-offs, right? So yeah, that's why my alarm is set below here, 1732385. My alarm is below there. Once price comes below that level, then it will alert me of that, and then I can look for my sales. And of course we have the trend line, and then if price does start trading back above this weekly low, breaks that trend line, right, comes for a retest maybe, then we'll look for the buys for the rest of the week. But as of now, we will just wait and for our opportunities below this level for sales. And looking at the daily, last but not least, my favorite time frame. Currently we have daily phase 2, which will be breakup structure, and we have daily phase 1, which is also the same as Trinity phase 1, which will be trend continuations below previous daily low, below previous 3-day lows. We can see we have missed this week's we tapped last week's weekly pivot point, right? We've come down and tapped it. We're starting to move up, and we also have this week's weekly pivot point that we haven't tapped into. Doesn't mean we're necessarily going to, but like I said, it is a magnet for price. But as long as we do stay below this level, like I said, then price, like gold, would potentially remain bearish. But you can see nice daily trend right here, breaking lows, respecting highs, breaking lows, respecting highs, breaking lows, respecting highs. So you can just expect that to continue, right? You don't want to try and call tops or bottoms. We're not trying to call trend reversals. We are just going with the trend. Trade the trend, ladies and gentlemen. And of course we have DXY. If we take a look on the weekly, we can see price did tap into this level. If we go on the daily, you can see better. Tapped in to the top of there, boom, boom. And we have reversed now at this point. So, yeah. Dollar is bullish short term at this point. So we'll see where it goes. Again, we've broke weekly phase 2. Breakup structure, we are trading above weekly phase 2, which means as long as price stays above here, we are potentially bullish. And then of course we have our trend lines, right? If price comes back below this weekly phase 2 level now, starts breaking daily structure, daily phase 2, Trinity phase 2, then obviously we will start flipping bearish at that point. But as of now, I will be watching for the dollar index to break out of 107.993. So then we can watch pairs like Euro USD. For sales, we can watch pairs like also gold for sales, Euro USD and gold for sales. We can watch pairs like USD CHF for buys. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on here on dollar index. Dollar. Analysis for GU. Yep, no worries. Give me 1 second. It'd be pretty much the same as oh shit. Pretty much the same as GJ. Let me just pull up. Let me just pull up Oanda real quick. Where's Oanda? Oanda. Here. GU. Let's go. Let's have a look. 10 minutes, 30 seconds. All right, let's have a look at GU. Sorry, I was just quickly doing something. GU. Let's have a look. So let's start on the weekly. All right, this is our 1 week chart. This is our 1 week candle on the 30-minute time frame. So this is last week's candle right here. So it closed bullish, right? And it also respected the previous weekly lows, right? So it didn't come and break these lows, made a new low in here, and also broke previous weekly highs, right? So GU, of course, is bullish on weekly perspective, right? So if we just mark in our levels right here, so this would be weekly phase 2, which would mean if price does come down and break this level, then from the weekly perspective, GU would of course then flip bearish. But as of right now, GU is bullish, and we have our targets up here at previous weekly high, which would be weekly phase 1, which we could just leave there at 1.20298. First of all, let's take a quick look on the weekly and we see if there's any key levels for us to look at. Maybe this one. Not really. Price closed above it. It'll probably be something in here like this, right? Which we would want to just take note of at this point. Nothing too major, but we definitely want to keep an eye on this level, as this is a key level. If we just move that on the daily right there, and we just go like that, right? So that's just something for us to keep an eye on. This is a key level which price could potentially reverse, right? The market could reverse from that point. As we can see, last time price did come up to this resistance, it then dropped over 1,500 or so pips. So let's keep an eye on that. But that is from the weekly perspective. We are bullish, right? So let's go down to now our 3-day level, right? We can see that again, we had this 3-day candle, which was bullish, made a new low, like higher lows, higher highs. And then the previous 3-day candle, right, is what, I don't know if you know what it's, I don't know if you know, but it's called an inside bar candle, right? Which is just a simple pattern, just a simple trading pattern. So the highs and the lows are inside the previous highs and lows, right? So it's called an inside bar, and then usually when you get a breakout of either side of that, you can get a pretty decent move. So this 3-day candle didn't break the highs or the lows of this previous 3-day candle. So this is an inside bar candle here on the 3-day. This would be Trinity phase 1 at this point, and this would be phase 2 again. So that's just showing that again price is bullish, right? And now we can start to get some levels where we can look at buys above on GU right here. So first of all, we have Trinity phase level 1, which would be buys above 1.19581, and then we have Trinity phase 2 right here, which would, of course, again would be break of structure to the downside, the same as the weekly. So we can just mark that in. And then last but not least, we can take a look at the daily, right? So we can see that price on GU is consolidating a little bit, right? It's ranging. It's staying within this range right here, right? But we need to see if price is bullish on the weekly and the 3-day, which is higher time frame levels. We need to see price start trending bullish on the daily, right? But what happened yesterday? Yesterday turned bearish on the daily, right? We respected previous daily highs and we broke previous daily lows. Okay, so we broke out of these daily lows yesterday. So that means price then is trending to the downside on the daily. So again, if you just take a quick look, GU is consolidating. It's in a range. It is not really doing anything at this point, right? We need to see a breakout either to the upside over here or to the downside below here, right? We need to see a breakout of this range. But first of all, what we can see is price to start trending back to the upside at some point, because we are bullish on the weekly and the 3-daily. So what we can look for is daily phase 2 breaks right above daily phase 2 breaks above 1.19005, and then that would mean that price then could potentially start trending back to the upside to match the weekly, to match the 3-day. So at that point we could look at buys above this level, right, above 1.19005, and then you could look to take that up into this level, which is around about 60 pips, 1.19581, and then of course beyond that as well, if you want to hold that trade back up into those previous weekly high levels, weekly phase 1 at 1.20298. But of course we have to see some of this structure being broken first, because from the daily perspective we are bearish. We did have a nice bearish candle yesterday, and we also respected previous highs and broke lows. So you know, in that meaning that we have highs, we have lows, we have lower highs, and we have lower lows, and now we've potentially got lower highs, and then if price comes down today, makes lower lows, right, it means that we are trending down on the daily and we could potentially start to see these levels, Trinity phase 2, weekly phase 2 broken, to then continue bearish. So if we do want to see buys, like I said, the weekly, if we take a look at the weekly, obviously this looks bearish, but you know, at this very moment it is bullish. It is trending to the upside. On the daily, we can see structure has been broken, right? Because we've got highs, lows, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, and then we've got higher lows, and then we've got higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? So you can see from the daily perspective, from the daily time frame, that we are starting to break that structure. We have broke that structure, that bearish structure. So now we just need to see price start breaking above these levels to continue bullish, right? Because at the moment it is consolidating and it has broke previous daily lows. It has showed bearish candles, so we need to start seeing bullish candles print and price start to move up here and start to break out of these levels, right, to continue bullish. No worries, dude. As of now, there's not really any trade on GU. I don't know. Are you looking at any trades on GU right now? For me personally, I wouldn't say there's anything happening on GU until we start to see breaks of either these levels or these levels, right? And then we can start to paint a picture of where price can potentially head to next. Looking for buying opportunities, yeah, I would say that would be a good idea at the moment. But of course, first of all, we have to see these levels being broken to then get those buys. So let's see. There's 4 minutes till London Open here. We're starting to get some of this volume coming in. Interesting. What pair am I looking to trade? Euro USD CHF really above this level, but I think we're gonna come in to test these levels a little bit more first of all. Gold below again, but I think dollar index is going to come down and test this level again. So that's probably not going to happen today. And potentially GJ above this level here. I would like to see GJ close with this level, potentially on the 1 hourly, and then I might be looking at buys on GJ above this level to continue bullish. But I just don't like how it's already broken yesterday's highs, right? We had it had yesterday's highs and it broke it pretty early on in Asian session, and now we've come down, closed back below it, and we're currently rejecting it. So yeah, let me take a look at the daily real quick. Let's have a look. We've got a daily bottom wick of 14 pips. I don't know. Nothing is looking too clean today, other than Euro USD below this level, right? So sales below 1.02227. Right, so sales below there, that looks clean, because then that would just mean, you know, trend continuation here from the highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, lows, potential creating highs then to continue bearish, right? Would make the most sense on Euro USD and also USD CHF, but obviously in the opposite direction. All right. Again, USD CHF to continue this move to the upside above this level right here. So above 0.95980. And if they don't come, they don't come. And then there's always tomorrow. But the reason I am looking for sales on gold, because the dollar index is bullish, right? We broke out of these weekly, out of weekly phase 2, break of structure. So we've broken that structure to the upside. We are slowly starting to move up. The dollar is slowly starting to gain strength. So that would mean gold weakness. You know, gold would continue to sell off below this level. That would mean USD CHF would continue to buy above this level because of dollar strength, and Euro USD would sell below this level because of dollar strength, would mean Euro weakness. So a lot of my trades are, some of my trades are based off dollar strength coming into the market, right, from the dollar index. So the dollar is gaining strength, so that means pairs like Euro USD, GBP USD, gold, they would start to sell off. They would start getting weaker because of the dollar strength. And then obviously dollar pairs like USD CHF, USD CAD, USD JPY, they would start to get stronger because of the dollar strength. You could then start to look for buys on those things. But I think it's going to come down potentially into this area first of all to retest again before we see that dollar strength come back into the market to the upside. So it's just a sitting and waiting game at the moment. Just being patient, not jumping into anything, waiting for the right setups to form, waiting for volume, volatility, momentum to come into the market, which can be tough during this time of the year, November, December, with a lot of banks, institutions, hedge funds, things like that, starting to wind down a little bit, starting to go on to their Christmas, New Year breaks. So potentially markets can get slower, but with everything that's happening in the world at the moment, with COVID and wars and inflation and tax and interest rates, everything skyrocketing, it's moving the markets a lot, and there's a lot of volume and volatility in the markets because of everything that's happening. So, you know, things can continue to keep moving nicely. Doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna just die off because of New York Christmas, New Year's. So we just gotta wait and see what happens. So this is London Open now. London Open has begun. You can see Euro USD is at daily pivot point level, rejecting again. I think this is a really nice target for Euro USD. Down at this level. You need more subs? I'm working on it, dude. I'm working on it. I do this because I enjoy it, you know? I really enjoy sharing analysis, talking to other traders. Like, I really enjoy it. I don't... Obviously, the views and subs are nice, and it does make me hungry to get them, and it gives me goals and something to work towards. But you know, we'll get there. I'll get there eventually. You just have to provide value, you know, be consistent, be likable, be open, you know. So but I mean, I'm not in any rush to take any trades as of yet. I am up. If I am up, as you can see, 760 for the month. So I'm chilling. I'm just looking for maybe 1 or 2 more trades. Because I go for 1 to 5 risk reward ratios. So I'm just looking for 1 or 2 more trades where whatever trade I make, I look to make around $300 to $500. So I'm just looking for like 1 or 2 more 1 to 5 risk reward trades. And I'll be set for the month. I'll be good. So I'm just staying patient. Not jumping into anything. But yeah, on GU, I wouldn't, if I was you, I wouldn't do anything until we see these levels being interacted with, right? Whether it's these ones or these two, right? Because at the moment it's just kind of in no man's land. It's in the middle of nowhere. Weeklies showing bullish, daily showing bearish. So you just got to wait until the daily aligns with the weekly, right? Until everything is aligning nicely, everything's looking bullish, everything's moving in the same direction on multiple time frames, and then you can look for those opportunities. Gold, the selling opportunities on it, same as US 10. Yeah, yeah, exactly. With the dollar strength coming in, I think there's a high chance that gold can continue to sell off at some point. I think it can gain some strength potentially this week with the dollar index potentially coming down into this level like I talked about at 107.274, which would mean dollar weakness momentarily, which would mean gold strength, which would mean gold would push up a little bit. But I feel overall dollar strength should come into the market again, and we should see at some point gold sell off. And if it doesn't, gold wants to turn bullish and wants to pop above these levels, then I'll just look for buys above these levels to take buys up into these 2 levels over here, potentially Trinity phase 2 and then weekly phase 1 as well. So either way, I'm not fussed. I'll look for trades going in either direction, but I feel at the moment I'll only be looking for sales at gold below 1732595, below this level. And then of course, like I said, if price does start breaking these levels, then I'll start looking at buys once a trend continues in this direction like this somewhere. I'll look for buys along here somewhere. What happened to the music? I know I repeat myself sometimes. I know I'm doing it as well. Like I repeat things twice, sometimes 3 times. But that's just to get it in my head as well, like to understand what I'm saying. Just to make myself clear, you know. Don't. Yeah, see GJ's again rejecting that level now. Previous daily highs, Trinity phase 1. So again, I feel GJ can come down into this level again before it continues its uptrend. But yeah, let's see. Again, looking at sales on Euro USD below this level. I've got my alerts on there. USD CHF above this level. I've got my alerts above this level for buys. Gold below this level. And GJ, not really looking at too much on GJ. Probably just going to let GJ play out for the day. See what happens on GJ. But I will be mostly looking at these sales on Euro USD and these buys on USD CHF for today. I did enter buys. If you would have watched yesterday's live stream, I did enter buys here on USD CHF yesterday. And my stops were below there. I think that was around about 15 pips, if I'm not mistaken. So I was in this trade yesterday. I still would be in this trade. Like I said, I usually go for a 1 to 5. So I still would be in this trade, but I moved my stop loss 5 pips below. Oh, what just happened? I moved my stop loss 5 pips below the break even, somewhere around there, and this wick right here came and stopped me out, and then continued bullish. But I mean, it's come around to around about break even twice now, so I probably would have been out at break even here anyway. Again, so maybe working on holding trades a little bit, giving them a little bit more chance to play out, and maybe not moving stops to break even here, and just leaving my stops where they were potentially. And if it ends up being a losing trade, it's minus 1%. But if this is a winning trade, then I'm gaining 5%, you know. So but yeah, that's you would have seen right here, USD CHF. That was those 2 buys yesterday, small buys. So yeah, ended up only taking around about a $20 loss, even though I was risking $100, which is good. Dun, dun, dun. Oh man, I am tired today. Sheesh. God damn. God damn, god damn, god damn. You have any training course? No, I don't. I just give out free analysis on YouTube. How long have you been trading for, June Pro? If you do trade, that is. Do you trade? Oh, you said you was looking at buyers on GU, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. Almost not even like profitable. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think I wasn't profitable until I think year 3 of trading is when I started to be profitable. But I mean, it takes everybody else, it takes everybody different times, you know. Like some people will be profitable in 1 year, some people will be profitable in 3 years like me, some people will be profitable in 5-6 years. Everyone's different. I think generally though, I think 2-3 years is a good amount of time to be profitable. You need to give yourself 2 to 3 years, I think, because I look at it the same as like a degree, you know, a university degree or a college degree or something. If you want to go and study something, if you want to go and study to be a doctor or a lawyer or accountant, anything like that, anything that's going to make you good money, like for example you could do from trading, if it makes you good money, it's going to take you a long time to learn it, right? If you go and get a degree in whatever it is, it's going to take you minimum 3 years, you know, and most of them will take you 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get that degree. So, you know, just take your time, man. Don't rush anything. Give yourself, you know, give yourself 2 or 3 years. You go, boss. What's up? Fun happens. What's up, man? My main issue, psychology. Yeah, I mean I think that's everyone's issue. That was my issue as well, because at the end of the day, there's so many strategies out there, right, that you can be profitable with. There's so many strategies that you can do, but it's not the strategy that is going to make you a successful trader, right? It's the psychology, and that's what most people struggle with. That's what I struggled with for the longest time. But that just takes experience, takes time. There's nothing you can really do about that except for working on it and time and experience, right? It's not something necessarily you're going to wake up with one day and just be like, okay, my psychology is great. It's something that you, like I said, you're gonna have to work on over time. Read some books on you know, psychology, things to do with how to control your brain, how to control your emotions, your thoughts, better ways to control your emotions. That's what I did. I read a lot of books that helped me. You know, you start to develop some strategies on how you can train your mind to be better in certain situations under pressure. You know, there's things you can do, but again, it just takes time and experience. Time, experience, consistency, knowledge, you know, because if you have knowledge, and knowledge in trading as in like if you have data from your results, that you're tracking all your data and you've done a lot of back testing, and you can see and you have all this data in front of you that you've tracked all your trades, and you have all this data and knowledge from the back testing that you've done, then that's also going to help you with your psychology, right? Because if you don't really know what you're doing and you're just taking trades and you're just kind of guessing and like, yeah, I saw this work out once, or I saw this strategy on YouTube and I'm going to go and use it now, but you're not really too confident and you don't have the knowledge behind it, you don't have the data behind your strategy, that, and I mean data from years of trading, you know, minimum 1 year data of trading that you need. Once you have that knowledge and data, you're going to be more confident and you're going to start to see things play out over and over again. And so that's also going to help with your psychology, right? And again, that just comes with experience, time, consistency, patience. So it all works hand in hand, and eventually it will click for you. But like I said, it's going to take time, and it takes some people a year, it takes some people 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. There's no real time that you can put on it. Psychology is every trader's weakness. Yeah, it literally is. It literally is. Like I said, there's so many strategies out there that are profitable that you can use. It's nothing to do with your strategy. It's everything to do with your psychology and learning to tame this thing up here. I've been there and I'm still there. Yeah, I mean, I remember days as well, man. I struggled. It's like mentally, psychology wise, my first couple of years of trading, I struggled heavily. I remember days of just crying I'm not afraid to admit it either, like crying my eyes out, because you get to a point where you think, there's so many times in the past where I got to, like, I was profitable for a month and I made like a couple $1,000s, real money, of my own money. And then the next month or the next week, I would just lose it and I'll be back to break even. And I did that around about 3 or 4 times, where I made a couple thousand or 1,000 and then back down to break even. And then I made 1,000 or a couple thousand and back down to break even. And then I made 1,000 and then back down to break even. And like, it was, eventually it just really got to me and messed with my head massively. And I remember just crying, and I'd say, like, I've said to my partner loads of times, like, I can't do this anymore. I'm giving up. I'm stopping. Like, it broke me down heavily at the beginning, and it does with everybody. And that's where the strong, survive, because most people at that point where they're losing money or they just can't seem to be profitable, they will get angry, they'll get emotional, upset, and eventually they'll just quit and they'll just be like, I can't do this anymore. This isn't for me. I'm moving on. But it's the ones that stick around, right? Stick at it. Say, I'm not a quitter. I'm not giving up. You just gotta, but I would advise you to stay focused and yeah, exactly. And you literally just have to wake up every day, every morning, every day you wake up with just a fresh mentality. Today, I've learned from my mistakes from yesterday. I'm not going to make those mistakes again. And I'm going to have a fresh outlook on the markets today. And I'm not going to take yesterday's problems or results with me into today's session. But I will learn from yesterday, and I will not make those mistakes again. And I'm going to move on. And that's just, you just have to keep waking up every morning with that mentality. Today I'm going to get better. Today I'm going to improve. Today I'm going to learn from my mistakes from yesterday and the day before, or last week or last month, and I'm not going to make those mistakes again. And you just have to keep doing that. Just keep waking up every morning. Daily, 1 or 2 trades a day. Max 1 or 2 trades a day, 100%. That's what, if you watched my my video on YouTube, 5 things that made me a profitable trader, that is one of the main things I say in that video. That is when I saw my trading, me going from break even and losing to profitable trader, is when I stuck to 1 or 2 trades a day, no more than that. And sometimes, even if I had a losing trade that day, I would just walk away from the charts, turn them off, come back the next day, because there's always going to be another opportunity the next day, the next week, the next month. There's always going to be opportunities to trade, right? But you do not want to be stuck in that cycle of having a losing trade and then revenge trading and then having another losing trade and then losing your profits, and then it just goes bad from there. So I would recommend just focusing on one good trade a day, 2 max. And once you get that, walk away. Because it's also well known that the human brain can only cope with making 2 major decisions a day, right? Anything past that, 2 or 3 major decisions a day is all the brain, the human body, emotionally, physically can actually deal with in a day before it starts to get overwhelmed, before it starts to get fatigued. So if you want to make those 2 major decisions and those 2 major things that you do that day in trading, you put them towards a trade and you do those 2 major decisions a day on your trade. And after that, you're going to be fatigued, you're going to be tired, you're going to be mentally exhausted, you're not going to be able to think straight, you're not going to be able to make those decisions with the same precision as if, you know, as you did before you did the 2 decisions, right? So that's why I recommend 1 or 2 a day trades. But here already on GJ, you can see that this price action, the way these candles are forming with these rejection wicks, rejection wicks, rejection wicks, sideways, 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 not really doing anything. You just stay away from this. Stay far away from this until you see some significant movement either way. Not easy, but I'll try my best. Yeah. I mean, yeah. How many trades do you usually take a day, Dream Pro? On average, over the last year, how many trades have you taken in a day, would you say, roughly? Up to 6? Yeah. And how many pairs do you trade? Any pair, I see any good opportunities. So you scan, so what? You scan all pairs, so all Forex pairs. So what would that be, like 20 or so pairs, maybe more? What would you say? All Forex pairs, sometimes indices, yeah. See, for me personally, I used to do that. and I used to do that for the first year or two when I first started trading, and it just got way too overwhelming. Way too overwhelming. Trying to keep an eye on that many pairs all the time throughout the day, every week, is just exhausting for your mind. You're just gonna drain your mind trying to keep tabs on all those pairs. For me personally, that's why I just stick to 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. The XY, obviously I don't trade that. This is just straight for analysis purposes, right? Of the US dollar being strong or weak. And obviously that's GU, that's what you asked me to analyze. But I just trade GJ, EU, USD CHF, and gold. And to be honest, I only mainly really trade GJ and EU. Most of my trades are on GJ and EU, and I'll maybe get one or two trades each on these a week. And that is all you need. You just get those 1 to 5 setups. You just want to focus on low risk, high reward trades, and it's all you need. Sometimes I get confused. Yeah, honestly, I used to be the same. I used to look at all Forex pairs. I used to look at gold, oil, indices. It'd be like 30 pairs, and it's just overwhelming, dude. It's way too overwhelming trying to focus on all of them all the time. If you're gonna do that, I would say do swing trading. But I haven't asked you what kind of trading do you do. Are you like a swing trader, a scalper, day trader? What time frame do you trade? I would say trading that many pairs is fine if you're trading the daily, weekly time frame, and you're entering trades on the daily or the weekly kind of time frame, because obviously, setups on those time frames wouldn't happen too often. But if you're like scalping or day trading, trying to follow that many pairs is just exhausting. Up to 5, up to 5 is perfect, I would say, a day. And that's what I do as well. I do 4 pairs, and obviously use the XY as analysis. Day trader, 4 hour 50 minutes. Yeah, just try cutting it down. Try focusing. Honestly, if you haven't watched it already, obviously I'm not just promoting myself, but go and watch this real quick. 5 rules that made me a profitable trader, and I go over that, like time frames, pairs, everything I just talked about. I go over that as well in that video. Basically, what you want to do is just, if you want to be profitable, if you really want to be profitable, you really want to start focusing on trading. Focus on 4 pairs, right? Focus on them in the specific time, right? So, for example, on GJ, I only focus on GJ during London session because it is GBP. It is a pound pair, right? So it will be the strongest and have the most volume during London session because it is the currency of England. It is the pound, and of course, it's obviously will have its most volume during the London session. So I only focus on GJ during pre-London, London Open, and London session. Euro USD, of course, the same because it is the euro. I focus on that mainly during, again, pre-London, London, and then sometimes because it is a USD pair as well, I focus on that during New York, right? So you want to focus on a few pairs. You want to focus on it at the right time frames, and you want to focus on the same setup. So you're getting the same pairs, the same time, the same setup, and you're looking for those things every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. And eventually you will start to see the patterns. You will start to learn those pairs inside out. You will start to see the how it sets up, how it forms, when to enter, when not to enter. You will start to know these pairs like the back of your hand, and you have to have that consistency, right? Like I said, with you want to look at the same setup at the same time, at the same day, at the same pair every single day, and you will start to see some consistency in your trading. Trust me. But basically, that was just that video that I just explained to you just in that short few minutes right there. But if you want to have a look, you can go and watch that a bit more in depth. Focusing on all these pairs is not that necessary, right? Because if you take a look at GJ, and then you take a look at Euro JPY, you can see it moves very similar, right? Very similar. And a lot of pairs do move, not necessarily in the same direction, but if you have, like, a lot of the times, if I have a setup on Euro USD, I will have a setup on GJ as well at the same exact time. And if I have a setup on Euro USD, I'll have a setup on USD CHF as well at the exact same time. So most of the time, a lot of the time, you will get setups on multiple pairs at the same time because they kind of correlate and they move kind of similar. Not obviously exactly the same, but you often see that if you get a setup on one, you get a setup on another one at the same time. So just taking your time and focusing just on that one pair or those two pairs is all you need. You don't need to focus on 20, 30 pairs because it can just get overwhelming and you'll start missing some setups and you'll start missing some trades, focusing on this pair when you should be focusing on that pair and blah, 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 blah. It can get confusing and it can get overwhelming. It's too much for your brain to handle, you know. Just focus on one or two pairs or max, like me. There was a time right when I started being profitable that I only looked at GJ, right? I only looked at GBP JPY and only traded GBP JPY during pre-London, only looking for one setup, and I'd get a few trades a month, you know, 5 max. But I was profitable. I started seeing profits, right? And you just got to think about the long run. You may not think right now with a small account that 5 trades a month is enough. But eventually in the long run, in the future, if you have a 100k account and you take those 5 trades a month, you're going to be looking at like 15, 20k profit just off 5 trades a month, just focusing on one pair at one time, on one time frame, at the same time every day. And looking at those setups, and 5 trades a month is all you need when you have that capital. Trust me. You're not looking to take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades a day. In the long run, you got to think about in the long run, that's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Focusing on trying to get 5 good trades a month is sustainable. And that's something you can do long term in the future. And you have to think about when you have a large amount of capital and your account balance is much bigger. All you will need is a few trades a month and you'll be making 15, 20, 30k. You have to think long term in this game. You can't think short term. You can't think short term gains. By next month, I want to make this much. By next year, I want to have made 50,000 or 100,000. Like, yeah, you have to think long term. What's sustainable long term? And trading 30 pairs every single day for the next 10 years is just not sustainable, dude. It's just not. Unless you have some kind of algorithm or EA. And even then, like, you know, do they work? Do they work as much as you'd want them to? If they did, everybody would be rich. If they worked, everybody in the world would just buy an EA and be a millionaire by next year. But that's not how the world works, unfortunately. It'd be good if it did, wouldn't it? So EU is now at previous weekly phase 2. So let's see, we've got that retest of this level now. Let's see if it can reject and eventually make its way down below this level. Interesting times on Euro USD right now. Let's have a look at the daily real quick. Okay, very nice daily top wick being formed. Like I said, what we want to see is price. What we want to see is price make this top wick, which it is doing. 40 pip top wick, it's not bad. And then we want to see it flip bearish here, start breaking these previous daily lows. Thanks a lot. No worries, dude. No worries. And I'm live every weekday, Monday to Friday, same time. If you ever want to chat, some advice, some analysis, if you want to share your analysis, if you have any analysis that you want me to look at, let me know. And we can take a look at it. Gold. There's some beautiful moves though this week. Like, you know, last week into this week, this move down was beautiful on gold. Very nice indeed. Just retesting on anything. It could be retesting on this level here, couldn't it? Resistance, resistance. It was also support over here. So this is a pretty decent level here on gold. Oh, didn't mean to delete it. Let's have a look. Yeah, tapped in there, didn't it? A little bit messy. No worries, man. Yeah, I'm about to head off now anyway. Thank you for coming in and chatting. Appreciate you for watching the stream. And yeah, I'll see you. I'll be live tomorrow if you want to come chill. If not, I'll see you whenever. Peace out, dude. Peace. Tomorrow, no worries, man. No worries. Have a good day, man. Have a wonderful day. Don't. Hey, yellow. What's happening? GJ, come down to 1673222. Alright guys, I am gonna head out. Appreciate everyone who stopped by the stream and left the comment and chilled and viewed and liked and stuff like that. And I'll be live again tomorrow, same time, 1 hour before London session opens. So just a quick recap. Today I will be looking at sales on Euro USD below 1.02227. Currently testing in previous weekly phase 2 levels. Nice rejection so far coming in. Also USD CHF buys above 0.95980 for continuation buys. Gold sells below 1732595, and that is about it. GJ, not really too much happening at the moment. Waiting to see what happens once the price comes down into this support level. We could potentially see that move continuation to the upside at some point today or tomorrow. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate everyone stopping by, and I will see you tomorrow.